are here live. I am here with Michelle and I'm here with Cecilia. ¿Cómo están todos, guys? We have a great show. We are here to speak facts and the truth. We're here to be truthful to ourselves and to the public eye. Anything you want to put out there, Cecilia?
Well, I think, I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, like, what exactly are we going to run with? What does everybody want to know? I think we should leave it open as well for people to ask questions and not block anyone. And whatever you feel you have a question with, you can. I mean, I'm open to answer any question.
I'm open to answer whatever question the public might have relating to whatever they want to know about me. But I do want to speak about certain people out there, and I'm going to begin with this. We here in the Valley, we have an organization called Mujeres Unidas.
Yeah.
Mujeres Unidas is an organization, a nonprofit organization based on domestic violence, women that have been abused by being in a relationship with a male and have physically gotten abused by a male, right? Yeah. So basically, when you hear another platforms trying to use that name Mujeres Unidas, to me it's a mockery. They're using it in a way to try to make themselves look victims of something that they have built amongst themselves.
And I think the main thing that I feel is that you're not a victim when you're constantly provoking.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's a big thing. When they say like, well, they're attacking me, or they're talking about me, or they're doing something. You can't poke a bear and expect it not to bite.
Correct.
So it's just a lot of things I think we have to address. A lot of people think because we don't agree with something that we hate them. No, I think just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I hate you. I just don't agree with what.
It's just a different perspective. Correct. That's all it is. And we're mature enough, or we should be adult enough, like, to accept different types of perceptions out there.
Correct. One of the main things that I want to talk about is there an individual in another platform, not that I want to bash her or talk bad about this individual, but her name is RJ. Okay. RJ was a supporter of mine for a very long time. Before she came into my team, she was with Vanessa. And other platforms or other group chats she participated. Now, she's over here mentioning that people were telling her what to do. In my opinion, we're a lot adults here. You make your own decisions. And basically whatever you do are your own actions. No one's forcing you to do anything. When you participate, it's because you are capable of, making your own decisions. And she's out there saying, well, they forced me to do this, and I never forced you to do anything. Before I even met you, I didn't even know you were Felicia Matters, Mike Campos, Antonio Campos, David Campos, and so many other Campos.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes.
I want to know who's Mike Campos.
Mike Campos, I've showed you receipts, Ram. I've showed you.
Hi everybody.
I've showed you receipts where she messaged me stating that she is fully responsible of Mike Campos, and you have those receipts, and you do what you got to do with those receipts.
I'm gonna do that.
Great. Okay. So you know who Mike Campos is. Of course, she messaged me apologizing for all those messages she sent you, attacking you for no reason, and you do what you got to do to defend yourself and to protect yourself from whatever aspect she's trying to go after you. Correct. Hi, Cecilia. Hi, Michelle.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
I really love the case because they think that I'm giving information out.
Correct.
So who's gonna think that I'm credible? They think that I'm giving information out.
Correct.
So it's like she's doing something to me that's affecting my job.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And you got to do what you got to do to protect yourself. To be honest, I mean, if you're gonna go through the authorities, that's on you. If you want to go through civil matter, that is on you. You are determined to do what you got to do.
I'm not gonna do my job or my thing for somebody that can be saying things about me, and then what? Yeah. I'm the one who's gonna lose.
Right.
I really lost one case because of that.
Correct.
Because they're saying these things that are not true.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Moving on, there is another individual who's participating in that platform by the name of Glow.
Yeah.
Right. So going.
I want to make something new. RJ, I think I don't even know who she is. I've never met her.
I don't even know who she is.
I've spoken with her once.
As a matter of fact, RJ was a person who took Vanessa and myself to Annette's house.
Wow. You see,
I think that's RJ
took
me to Annette's house because I could prove it to you with facts because I took a picture of her flat vehicle, to be honest. So when a person's out there crying victim, trying to make herself like, I didn't do anything wrong, you were part of all this shit. So you can't go say, I never did anything when you were part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we did anything wrong because we haven't. Obviously, we.
I don't think it's against the law to drive by someone's house.
No,
Correct.
It's
Justice
not.
410,
yeah.
HEB management and everything.
Yeah.
All right, don't worry about that. We got that taken care of, everybody.
So we have here Glow. Glow, on the other hand, is trying to play victim as well. So many times she spoke very well about me. So many times she defended me. Then all of a sudden she went on a rampage, bashing me, attacking me, calling every name of the book because of my sexual preference, which is fine. I mean, you could try to label me. I don't believe in labeling anyone. She then decided to go make fun of my my addiction that I had once in my life and stuff, which it didn't bother me. What I said out there is, how are you going to go criticize someone when in your own household you lived it, correct?
Yeah.
Her son went through an addiction, so how are you going to go try to belittle me, try to shame me because of the life that I live when your own son lived it? So instead of trying to bash someone and bring someone down, you should say, you know what? I have a son at home who lived it, who went through this addiction. I should be proud of this person because he came forward with what he's done. Yeah. Not attack him and try to belittle him because there's certain things he's done wrong. I've never lied to anyone that I had an addiction in my life.
Exactly.
So for me to have something against her, no, I don't hold anything against her. Whatever she said, it's fine. She's going to continue talking about me, trying to continue acting like a victim. That way, no. And I don't have an issue with that. What do you think about somebody who's trying to belittle someone who has gone through an addiction, but in her own household, she's lived it?
Yeah, I just think that...
To get myself in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of think like, I mean, they're just being bitter. They're just trying to bring down somebody who has come out of something and who's actually on a different path now, you know what I mean? And it's just, again, I think it's just like somebody who's just trying to... just, I don't know, if they're trying to make themselves feel better in some way, or, you know what I mean? Because it's like, why go that far, right? To bring somebody down someone who's come out of something like that, or who has been in any difficult type of situation.
And I think I would be the first one, because I'm always saying that, like, you choose your path. But I've said that numerous times. My father had a drug addiction, and you know what? He's overcome it. So have you. And people change. And it's like you said, you can't ever judge a person by their past. Correct. You can only judge them by what they're putting out there. Exactly. And if you continue to do things like, it's just that's who you are, obviously. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You had a past. Yeah. You did. We all have a past. You chose to do something different.
And I think what matters at the end of the day is that you've made that change, you know. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's like nobody's gonna do for you, you know, and nobody's gonna support you more than your own self, you know what I mean? And the bottom line is that you've discovered, hey, you know what? You've identified some things, and you're like, hey, I'm out of this. I love myself now. I care for myself now. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what matters. But people are always going to try to come and try to attack you in any type of way. And those people are really irrelevant to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you've overcome a lot of things.
Right. So right now we have Ophelia, and I'll call her by her name. Correct. Right. We have this individual who.
Oh, wait. I want to go back. Because there's something. I want to go something back because the whole thing with like we started with Glow. So Glow and me had no problem. I mean, I don't know what she expected from me, because she keeps saying like I didn't support her in what? Like I didn't know I needed to support her. I did say that I didn't agree with her because, I mean, shoot, she shot her home bed out when she was angry with Ophelia. Like, correct. You're right. Like, I think everyone saw that, and she was on there talking crazy, being like, oh, you know, and I was like, damn, she's a G. Like, I honestly portrayed her as someone else. And if that was a problem, like that I portrayed her as someone else, and now I think she's somebody else by sitting at a table with someone who talked so down at her, like I can always coexist with Ophelia. Like, she will never disrupt my peace. But will I talk to her? Will I be friends with her? Will I be okay with her? Well, never. Right. I can never do that.
It's the same thing with I'll go back to Velda. Velda, we've had so many issues in the past for a very long time. She's the type of person that anybody who have a conflict, she will join them.
Yes.
She would join them and start feeding them all this lies and this negative things about my family. She then makes up all these lies about my mom. My mom is a single parent who raised 6 kids by herself. My mom gave up everything for us, and a todos los sacó hasta hacia adelante. Everybody has a degree. I even joined the military myself. I did my paperwork for the VA already to do my claims and stuff. So I have my education too. My brother's a judge, my sister's a counselor, my other one's a fashion designer. So everybody has an education. My sister even has, my brother even is a surgical tech. My other brother's a teacher. So my mother did a lot to raise all her kids. It was my choice to make the choice that I lived. Nobody forced me to do anything, but yet at a young age, at the age of 15 and 16, I met Belda. Belda was the first person who I bought coke from.
And these are facts. Like, you're not just saying this to throw Belda under the bus. No. You're not saying this because of anything. These are true facts. Like, these are events that happened in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I mean, I guess, like, that's a big thing that a lot of us have. A lot of, like, you have a lot of history with him. I didn't know anything. Honestly, like, Ophelia did talk about me crazy in the beginning, not because I disagreed with her and some things. But when she completely went 180 against me is when I stood up for you because what she said about your sexuality. And I think.
Right. So then we have Ophelia here, guys. Ophelia is the type of person who has been acting victim for a very long time. One of the things that started our conflict between her and I was that basically I questioned her. Why would you ask your daughter, have you ever been bitch slapped on Facebook?
Yeah, and those are valid questions. Like, I think everybody wanted to know that. Like, why would you use that term against your daughter? I mean, if I would have said that, question me. Like, why would you say that? Like, right. I mean, and you know what? I would think about it and be like, damn, you know what? I screwed up. I'm sorry about that. Like, I kind of took it too far. I said something I shouldn't have said. But instead, she took it as, you don't tell me what to do. You don't tell me. Like, she took it as a,
she got defensive. She got very defensive.
Because she meant it as, not, I can't say what she was thinking, but to me, it seemed like she truly meant it, and that's why she was upset about it.
Right. So the thing is that I asked her simple questions. She went off blasting me, calling me, gay, making fun of that I was molested as a child, saying my mom was a whore, making fun of my brothers, whatnot, you name it. So at the end of the day, what I've done is only the same thing she's done. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but people get tired of the same shit over and over again. Yeah. You get to a point where you're going to say either you're going to fight back and stand up for yourself, or you're going to continue to allow these people to walk all over you. And I said, enough is enough. Enough with her trying to belittle me, trying to shame me, trying to make fun of me because I was an addict. It really doesn't hurt me anymore. But there's people out there that watch my show that are going through an addiction, have a loved one who's going through an addiction, and that's one of the main keys why I started this.
It's a testimony.
Correct.
It's a testimony for yourself, and it's there to empower and encourage other individuals who are going through the same things that you went through.
Right.
That you can do it.
To bring people out of those situations.
Right.
You know?
So moving forward, there's so many things that they're trying to put out there and show that they're victims of something, but they don't want to talk about what they've done.
Yeah.
They don't want to go and say, you know what, this is what I've done. These are the mistakes that I've done, and this is who I've hurt. Mm-hmm. Why not do that? Frank is an example. His son, an 11-year-old little boy or 8-year-old little boy, why is she labeling him as being gay? Why put his picture out there? A little boy.
And I know, and she tiptoes around it, like, no, I didn't say it, or I didn't say, or she deletes the video and she doesn't think, like, it, she erases it from her mind. We all heard it. Mm-hmm. We all heard it.
And that's just so messed up.
It's so petty.
It's so petty to be exposing or to take even a child. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what are you trying to do at the end of the day? Like, this is somebody that, you know, you're trying to bring down about his sexuality, or trying to make a mockery out of him, you know, on social media. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, what gives her like feel like that she's empowered to do something like that, you know what I mean, to hurt like people that way. Like, it's bizarre, it's crazy.
Right. So I feel that when she started attacking Frank's children, that's where I say, you know what, this is bullshit. And I'm very upset with Frank, and I'm going to be very honest. Frank, when the fuck are you going to snap the hell out of it, man? When somebody's attacking your wife, your children, and making fun of them, bro, when the hell are you going to say, you know what, enough with the bullshit? When are you going to take action? And it's not that I'm calling you out. It's the fact that you never stand up and take action to defend your children. I'm tired of her attacking your son and making fun of your son and you say, you know what, it's okay. It's not fucking okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. And that goes for anybody else who have had their children exposed by that lady. She wants to say, you know what, you talk about my kids, you allow your kids to participate. You allow your daughter to participate. Your daughter took pictures of Cecilia and I at Wing Champs, and she reported to you.
And my mom and my aunt, and she was on a live view. She was, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so as far as, and that's a really big thing, because I think that's when I really got upset, because my daughter didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And she says, well, I'm going to talk about you.
What does she have to do with it?
You, even if, let's, you know what, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say her daughter was there before us. Let's say her daughter was there. Why take a picture of me?
Yeah.
Why, and then not just one picture, several pictures. Why, when we were exiting the location, continue to take pictures? Because your mom encouraged you. And I think that's where Ofelia fails to recognize that you insert your children in this, but yet you get mad when people talk about your kids. I never inserted my children in any of this.
Yeah, you never involved your
I never involved my children.
And that's the way it should be, because, you know, at the end of the day, we're all adults. Like, the children or people who have nothing to do with this have, like, why speak about them or why target them?
Right.
In other words, why target them? You have no rights to be targeting people who are innocent or don't even know what's going on. At one point, she even tried attacking Cecilia's mom. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even her mom. It was somebody else, which was so stupid.
Right. So we have an individual. Vanessa is an example here, guys. Vanessa has been a victim to a lot of this. Person has gone after her in so many ways. Not only has she gone after her, but she utilizes her kids to be part of this. They stalk her. They take pictures of her. They make fun of her kids. They do a lot of things towards her. Vanessa as well. I don't know when the hell are you going to snap out of it and take actions to defend yourself. Forget about this political bullshit stuff. Forget about, you know what, I'm going to run for this. It's time for you to say, you know what, I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to go to the authorities. I got to do what I got to do. But you don't do it. You're so caught up with this politic bullshit. No, ma'am. It's time for you to say, you know what? They're harassing me. They're stalking me. And if the chief of police is corrupted from Raymondville, you'll go to the Rangers. You got to do something for yourself.
If something can't get done with the first foundation that they have, then you have to keep escalating until something does get done.
You need to stop avoiding the issue. The issue is going to continue. The issue is going to continue because you allow it to happen. You never say enough is enough.
And this whole thing with them saying that they're united.
So much background noise, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And for them saying that they're united, I mean, like, united to what? To continue? Like, they're saying we're united because we're hated on. So you're pretty much teaming up to fight. Like, you're not teaming up to end it. You're teaming up to fight.
To take people, to put down people.
Yeah, to continue to just hate other words.
There's nothing empowering or encouraging that's coming out of that group but hate.
Right.
Correct.
So now that they try to team up, what is the purpose of teaming up? To now start targeting individuals?
Yeah, like, just like the other day, why would she call HEB? Like, what gain did she have of it? Like, what pleasure did she have of it? Like, she always says, I don't do anything unless they do something to me. When have I ever called anything that she's doing?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
When have I ever called a location or when she was
restaurants
at
she goes
restaurants she goes to, or when she was in the, like, anything? When did I ever do that? You know why? Because she's irrelevant to me in my world, but she has so much hate in her heart that she's willing to do anything to make people
right.
feel.
For example, when she called Applebee's and stated I was taking minors to drink there, when she called the food stamp office to say that I was committing fraud, and then she decided to call the school districts trying to shame me because
they're saying that I look blurry. You gotta wipe it. I think it's the light.
It's the light. But no, put it back up.
Oh. Sorry.
Just put it back there.
My aunt's house is a little dark.
So at the same time, guys, we cannot allow for these people to try to attack us, to try to make us feel bad. They are not victims to anything. We got to remember that there's a pattern to this. There's been a pattern to all this from day one. Before Ofelia joined Frank, she had issues with Vanessa. And she has not left her alone the past 3 to 4 years. right? So that means the problem is her, and not Vanessa, not I, not Cecilia, not Rosa, right?
Yeah.
So what I feel she needs to do, and it's an advice, she needs to work on her inner self.
Yeah.
Right?
She needs to get off social media and understand that if she doesn't want to hear anything, like, you can't fight the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Yeah. You know, there's hundreds of people, millions of people, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Neither are you.
Right.
But are we gonna go and attack everybody single one
who doesn't like us? Knows.
And I know everyone's gonna say, well, why do we do it to these people? Because they make it a point to reach out to us or to come to us and calling HEB, that was ridiculous. And then all I had to do was record it and send it to them and be like, oh yeah, I was this crazy lady. And it makes herself look even crazier because you did it. And she puts it out there, like all these 911 calls, all these, I mean, obviously
it's excessive.
Obviously if any of us were doing anything that was illegal, don't you think somebody would have went to jail?
Yeah.
Correct.
Don't you think the cops would have already intervened?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
They haven't, because it's nonsense on her part. It's just crazy the things she's doing.
I could just think, I just sit back and I just imagine she's calling and they're just there's all these reports. Oh, it's this lady again. It's this lady again. It's like.
So for people to understand this, what I do here, the character Ruby, it's not about attacking anyone. It's not about making fun of anyone. The character Ruby was built to stand up not only for myself, but for a lot of people. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's a right thing to do, but I had to act upon what I felt was right. And, when she called out Brenda Lee's mom and made fun of the lady was deceased. Why would you do that?
Why?
Right?
And I think, Jaime, I want to speak on that because a lot of times I think some of the stuff was so hurtful that when you would come in, you kind of would bring a little bit of it's okay. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, I got you. A sense of we're not just going to let her talk about you.
Right.
It made people feel and I think that's why a lot of people love you, because you healed a lot of people in a sense that you spoke up for them when they felt like this lady was just going to just nonstop talk about them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people I think have said that as well. They didn't want to say anything because she would call their job, she would call their this, she would call that, and I think they felt threatened. And I think a lot of people say that the same thing about Vanessa, that Vanessa would do the same. But I don't think I'm not saying she didn't, because I wasn't around in that time. But I'm sure if she did, it's not anymore. That's growth. She stopped doing that.
Yeah, but what you now see is the person who was making those accusations towards her is the one who's now doing it, and it's showing everybody who she really is, and what she's doing and what she's capable of doing.
She's doing what she said was crazy.
Exactly.
Right. So everything that Vanessa did and has changed to a certain point, she picked it up.
Why don't you tell Rona what you did with those flyers of Rona and her daughter?
Let me explain to you hold on. Let me explain to you what happened here. And I know what that comment's referring to. RJ printed out some flyers. I believe the flyer was where Ophelia and her daughter were kissing. Okay. And what she did, she went to go drop them off at the school.
Oh, fuck.
She passed out flyers.
So RJ did that. And you can attest to that. If Ophelia would call you right now, if it was you and Ophelia and RJ sitting at a table, you will tell RJ to her face it was you.
Yes.
There you go. You see? And that's something that needs to be brought up and cleared up because you're willing to go face to face and tell her, I didn't even know that happened. I didn't even know that.
And this is what the problem here. RJ feels that she's protected. And I'm going to explain why she feels she's protected and she feels untouchable. It's because her cousin is the chief of police in Raymondville. Wow. That is the problem here. And at the beginning, I saw so many things that she would say her cousin was going to do this for me. Her cousin was going to do this for us and for the group and for anything for us, guys. The minute she decided to turn her back against me was when she started attacking me, saying, oh, we never did this, we never did that. But there is receipts to this. There is receipts where she's at Miss Felicia's Matters. There is receipts where she went to go vandalize Ophelia's car.
And they talk, and I think they talk about uniting. And I think I said this on our very first show. We did. When is this going to end? when is it going to end? And I think right here, we're bringing it to the table. If you have an issue, we'll never be able to break bread, but we'll be able to end it.
Yeah. So if somebody has a question regarding my personal life, you could call. I will answer everyone's call. 956-378-3073. You are more than welcome to call and ask me questions. We talked about that. You are more than welcome to call and ask me whatever questions you want regarding to my personal life. I am an open book. I've never denied any of that stuff. I've been arrested before. I've done drugs before. Yo era ratero. I told you from day one who I was. Okay, so
somebody said the chief isn't RJ's cousin. He is married to her cousin. That is all. So he's the cousin through marriage.
Through marriage. But, of course, I've been around where she's called the primo.
Right? So you see, and that's,
I've been around when she's called the primo. Now, she wanted to say that I wanted to blackmail Vanessa. If I wanted to blackmail Vanessa, I have the recording to show you that RJ's lying. The only reason I don't show those recordings, because Anit and RJ and I, we were on the phone. The only reason I don't show those recordings, because a mí que me queda hablar mierda de Vanessa, si hace drogas o no.
Yeah, I think that's her own.
Let me tell you that. If she does it or not, eso no es mi pedo. That's her personal life. But I do have a recording that I could show you all that would show you all, that would tell you all different. Yeah. That would answer these questions whether or not she does it or not. But it is not me to put her out there, because that's not my problem. If she's doing it, es pedo de ella. She's an adult. Mm-hmm. She makes her own decisions. But there is receipts to show you all what she's really doing out there.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's crazy because, we got somebody calling.
We got a call coming in.
Winner, chicken.
Hello.
Hello, hi, girls.
Hi, Miss Painter.
Hello, Miss Painter.
Les hablé para decirles that you all have more balls than those viejas put together.
Thank you.
And the only one that really has them is Jaime.
Well, you guys get it. You have some big ovaries, some big pelotas.
Okay.
You have no problem saying the truth, and everything you're saying is the truth. Of course, why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But I'm going to tell you that Ophelia's explanation was, I didn't see any empowering women there.
Right.
They were just, tenían la cola entre las patas, todas. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to make excuses for their behavior.
Right.
And they were, the only thing they had in common, I think they each had their time to say what they were, and they basically all had Vanessa in common. They basically all had criminal records in common. They all had, basically they all fessed up to say, well, I am a bad person, or I have some shit out there, but, I'm good. I'm a good person.
Right.
And Ophelia admitted to having talked about people's kids and wives and mothers because she hits where it hurts.
Correct.
So to me, that she's admitting to intentionally hurting people.
Right.
But she's not a bad person. She's not a bad person, according to them. They would say their shit, and then they say, but I'm not a bad person.
Miss Painter, yesterday we left off in a conversation where you were going to speak facts regarding to what role did you play, what role did Ophelia play regarding to that allegation they made about the drugs they planted in Vanessa's car, or was it, or what? How did it take place? We want to hear the facts from you.
I'm going to tell you the whole truth because it's about time. It's been about 2 years or over 2 years. And I got a call at about midnight. And Delia called me, my Aunt Delia. And she says, hey, I have Ofelia Moreno on three-way. And she had called Delia to ask her for money, for $100, because she and another person apparently during the day they had tried to set up Vanessa with drugs. Mm-hmm. And what had happened, they had already sent them money, and what this person did was party with Vanessa. They bought the drugs, but they used them.
Mm-hmm.
So she was saying, well, you're gonna have to send me some more money because I can't plant the drugs on her because you used them. We used them.
Correct.
So she said, so I need $100.
Correct.
And I said, I don't have $100, but so I wanted to know if I had $100 to lend them to send them to this person.
Mm-hmm.
And that and I said, well, I do, but I don't like that idea, you know.
Right.
Well, so apparently Ophelia had made a deal with this person.
Who is this person?
Claudia.
Okay, great.
And so she
and Ophelia, and these are firsthand. This is firsthand. So we're not. It's not like a third person. It's not like you heard this. No, you were involved.
Right.
Not involved, but you are firsthand witness to what happened.
And Ms. Painter, let's. If you're gonna speak the facts, I want to know names. Let's just not go around anything. Let's just say how it is.
Okay, no problem. Because it's the
Great.
truth.
Exactly.
So, and Vanessa knows that it's the truth. She was there. So anyway, so she says Claudia needs $100, and she's apparently Ophelia had told her during the day, look, there's people that will pay money for you to do this, and you could even fix your van because Claudia's van was messed up. So she said, okay, well, you know what? Just lend me the $100. I end up to Ophelia. She said, lend me the $100, but send them to Claudia. Nobody had cash apps at the time. That was 3 years ago. She said, do you have cash app? I said, yes. She said, send them to Claudia's daughter because they need to fix a flat on the van, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. So I sent them to Claudia's daughter.
Correct.
In fact, the daughter messaged Celia after she got them and said, thank you very much. We went to Whataburger and got some Whataburgers. So fine, ahí quedó, yo me dormí. The next day in the morning, and I can tell you exactly, it was a Friday night when she called me, and on a Saturday morning, she said, Ophelia Moreno called me, and she said, I am in Brownsville. I am a block away from Claudia's apartment, and I am waiting for Vanessa to take off so I can call the cops on her.
Wow.
Because she was under the impression that their deal, Claudia and her deal, had been done, and it had been planted, and but Vanessa never left. Vanessa and Claudia partied with the drugs again.
Wow.
You see? And so Vanessa never left. And so Ophelia got mad, she came back and said, pues a la que se pudieron, like I said, it was Ophelia, because then I thought, well, shit, that sucks because who's going to pay me? That's what I care. Who's going to pay me back? Because it wasn't going to be my money. I wasn't going to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
So at the reunion on election day that Frank had at the old place in San Pedro, Ophelia got there and she gave me the $100 back, and she said, here is the loan that you loaned me. So, because I loaned her the money, apparently according to her, I was involved in this shit. But I have receipts because Claudia, there has a lot of messages back and forth with Claudia, because Claudia said, I don't want her. At one point, Ophelia had said that I was involved, that I had done it.
Correct.
So Claudia got mad and she sent Delia receipts and said, look, I don't want Ophelia blaming Ophelia Painter because that's not the way it was. She had been talking to me all day about this deal.
Right.
Deal. Moreno had
So what role did John Allen have to do with all this stuff? Because I know John Allen was involved.
Well, the thing is that in this conversation, apparently the money during the day that was sent to her was given to Ophelia Moreno by John Allen.
Wow. So John Allen le había dado $100. I remember at the time that John Allen had called me and he bitched out Ophelia because Ophelia didn't do what she was indicated to do. He returned the money back and Ophelia le cobró $25 to go drop off the money.
Well, I don't know if it was in that time, but I can tell you that that Ophelia had no money. That's why she was asking for money. The first batch of money she sent was given to her by John.
Wow.
And so in the middle of the night, there were, I didn't know any, I didn't know Claudia, I didn't know any, I knew Vanessa. It was implied at that time, was people would say she's high. Oh, she's high. Well, nobody had ever seen her do drugs at that time. So we could, I mean, you couldn't say that, but to me, si no tiene los pelos en la mano, no puede decir que sola, you know?
Right.
So, but that's what happened that night. Yes, it was a three-way call, and there's another person that I believe Delia told me that other person was on the call with her.
Who was that other person, if you don't mind me asking?
I think that it's Argelia.
Okay.
And so, estaba con Delia on the phone when Ofelia Moreno called her, and the initial conversation with Delia. So, you know, all of this stuff, that yes, it was something that was planned by Ofelia Moreno, John Allen, whatever. I don't know who else might have been involved. I don't know. I'm telling you what I know.
Yeah.
But yes, they asked me for a loan of $100 to send it to Claudia.
So pretty much they asked you to loan $100, but they told you what it was for. That's kind of where kind of where it went. And that's insane because they pretty much ratted themselves out what their plan was.
Right.
And it kind of and you see, like, a lot of people talk crazy, like, about Vanessa saying, like, oh, Vanessa was all in her head, but I mean, she was spot on. She knew more or less what was going on.
Yes. I mean, you can be drugged up, but you can know what's going on around you.
Right. You're
And then the video came out where Claudia put the drugs in the car. And when I saw that, I said, well, this is stupid. It could be Arena for all that matters. And yes, Claudia was just, she was feeding Ophelia corn.
right.
Ophelia was money, you know?
You're
It's kind of like
correct
the
about
time-
that.
It's kind of like the time when Ofelia Moreno and Claudia were fighting with each other. And so Ofelia told Claudia to go to the cemetery, and they were going to beat the shit out of each other at the cemetery.
It was fake. It was a setup.
It was all fake so that people would believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
so,
did it.
so you think, Ophelia, like, now that a lot of this was staged just for, like, views for.
Yes.
Okay, you see, and that's another thing I think I said from the beginning, that I felt a lot of the stuff coming from that side from the beginning was staged from views, because it was ridiculous. The stuff I read, people sent me, and it's so crazy, that story that you just said, someone sent that to me, that they had breakfast that morning with Ophelia, and she was upset because she was calling the Raymondville PD because she wanted one of them to come and arrest. Remember I told that to you? They wanted her to, she wanted that person to come arrest Vanessa, but the guy was like, I can't go, like, it's out of my jurisdiction. And, like, Ophelia was really upset, and yada yada yada, and to hear the true story from someone who knew firsthand, wow, like,
but Vanessa's fully aware of all this shit, to be honest. And my thing is,
Other things happened that weekend with Vanessa being drugged up and Claudia's daughter and stuff. I don't want to get that story in because it's a little girl, but the thing is that other things happen, and you wonder, well, why didn't Vanessa call the cops? Why didn't she report it?
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a lot of things that Vanessa could have gotten arrested for.
yeah.
correct.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean,
And
I think that's a lot of the
But-
reasons a lot of other things don't get
Right,
called
you're
on.
correct about that. Mm-hmm. But thank you for calling in and explaining to us the story, Miss Painter.
Talking about, Vanessa, Ophelia tonight, she talked about the picture, Frank's picture, and she said she hadn't showed it to nobody.
She showed his nudes.
But one person, and I think she was talking about me, dijo la millonaria. And I think she was talking about me because I don't know if she showed it to anybody else, but she did show it to me.
She showed Frank's picture live, the
Oh,
nude.
yeah.
They removed the video. She had it.
Yeah, and then she even sent me Vanessa's vagina picture, which was insane.
Yeah.
Remember? Because I was like, who would do that?
See, but this goes back to RJ. RJ had Frank's nudes.
But who originally had the nudes?
Yeah, the thing
who
is
had
that
the
I'm going to
nudes in the
explain to you what
beginning?
happened. Frank sent those nudes to Heather.
Okay.
Heather fell in love with Frank.
Okay.
Right? She, I guess, decided
by
to
the way,
confine.
God will never give you another woman's husband.
Right. She confined with Esadi. Esadi got those nudes, right? Esadi and RJ were good friends, right? So RJ stayed with all those nudes. Eventually gave them to Ophelia.
Yeah.
Ophelia then started to use those nudes against Frank.
As a pawn.
As a pawn.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing is that when she showed it to me, it was one night that I had gone to pay my visas, and I picked her up and we went to Whataburger. And while I was eating my burger and I opened my big mouth, she showed me the picture.
Right.
And I, what the hell is that? Who's that? And she told me it was Frank. Le dije, no, that they got it from the internet. Se miraban muy perfect. And
well,
ya la probaste, remember?
So what's a fake badge picture?
No.
Oh, like,
yeah.
Miss Peña ya la probó. Ella me dijo que andaba en Houston y Sasa le dio Frank.
then she showed it to me, and she, actually, before she even showed it to me, she was just staring at her phone like she was just mesmerized, like staring.
Oh, somebody said, Cece, how do you know it was Vanessa's V? Was her face there too? No, but Ofelia Moreno told me that it was, and she doesn't lie, remember? So.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And then, Frank's face wasn't there either.
Somebody said it looked so perfect.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So, guys, we did have another call come in, Miss Peña. I want to thank you for all your support.
Yes,
Hey,
thank you for calling in.
Yes.
That's great to see you. You all look fabulous.
Ay, thank you. Look flawless. Mira, ay, thank you.
Pero me menos más bonita que ellas.
Ay, we'll see you October 1st.
Okay, bye-bye. Miss Peña,
Bye, Taylor.
Let's see who called us in, guys. So we have somebody else who called in, and let's call them.
So if anybody has any questions for any of us, I mean, feel free to ask them. We're here to answer them. That's what we're here.
And all calls that are going to come in are on the air. Not like, we don't want. You're going to ask the questions on the air. Because this is a transparent show. Let's be truthful. That's why all those questions. Suelta la pinche sopa tonight, guys. Hablando a Chile aquí con nosotros, guys. We're returning this call back. It seems like if they're not going to answer, maybe they're a little bit timid, but they did call.
OM said they have 2 platforms and y'all have 7.
Hello?
What?
Yes?
I don't know about 7.
It's me, Ruby. I had a missed call.
Hola.
I can't hear.
Hello?
Hello? I can't hear it.
Maybe that's reception.
It's lost reception here. Let me call it again, guys.
Everybody a liar. Did want to see the dang. In the video. I'm just reading some of the comments, everybody, but I think a lot of people.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, Diana.
Oh, wow. Let me find out, Diana.
Well, what did you say? First, tell us what you say. You can say on the air.
Well, I don't have moderators.
Yeah.
So I don't know who or how they're deleting messages. But I left this show.
No, I think there are moderators.
I haven't had no moderators here. So
are those moderators the ones with the little fierro? I don't.
Well, yes.
So
I didn't even know I had moderators to begin with, guys.
Oh, 13 platforms.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? I have you on speaker.
Okay, that's fine.
Monday.
No, I was just I'm barely getting off work, so I was like trying to catch up with everything that's going on. So I guess we were in on the fake drugs from the
it's Frank.
Card.
Right.
Oh,
talk to
Francisco.
me. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you what I know, like. I mean, cause
wait a minute. How do you know, Frank? Who told you?
What role did you play?
Yeah, and how do you know? Who told you?
What role did you play, Frank?
What role did I play? Nothing, because I wasn't involved.
Oh, okay. Before they start saying that you were involved.
Okay, then who told you?
How did you find out?
Because Laronia told me.
Okay. And she don't lie.
She doesn't
lie, but it's actually recorded because I put it out there. If you remember, last year around Christmas time, I had talked about it, and then Laronia has like, no, Frank, that mother is lying.
Hold on, Frank. Time out. I wasn't aware that I had moderators to begin with, guys, but I do not want you to delete no
let it all
comments.
roll.
Do
Let
not
it all
delete
roll.
no comments. Nada. Everything goes tonight. If there's a people talking shit, ni modo. Do not delete no comments. Go for it.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so I had posted that video last year around December, Christmas time. I was saying that Laronia had confessed to me that she had tried to plant drugs in Kiski's car with the help of Claudia or whatever. So, immediately after that night or that same night, I don't remember, but she was like, oh, whether she's a liar, she's a liar, that's how he does his lies. So anyway, I didn't have the audio clips, but I mean, I remember they were somewhere out there. So I want to say like a month or two later, I was able to find the audio, and then I put that video out there where, she confesses to me. She's like, yeah, I lost chingos de money, Frank. It was like $100, and perdí chingos de lana porque Claudia and I don't know this. But then, like, as soon as I did that, all of a sudden she starts switching her story and saying that it was like, there were fake drugs, and then later she changes the story saying it was She-Rock and I don't know what. There's actually a page out there that's pretty funny. There's a page out there called Alexito Colaronia.
Right.
Which I don't gotta get blamed anyway. But they actually put like all the different versions that Laronia has put out that has mentioned about the drug stuff. She literally she tried to find tissues, dude.
Right.
And I always told, I remember I told Ronia that one time, I was like, dude, don't be doing something that's gonna land you in jail, because, don't be doing stupid shit like that. But also I do remember, Vanessa had called in and she had mentioned about, trying to make people believe that she was fighting Claudia. She had told me that she had gotten in a fight and yes. Hello?
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm sorry that I interrupt you, but I don't want to talk about Vanessa anymore. I want to talk about you. And what I want to know about you as a person is, why haven't you stepped it up and do something about it regarding to your children that Ophelia has placed out there? That's what I want to know. About Vanessa, let's move on from that crap. I want to know why you haven't taken action yourself.
It really is just going to come involved to time and money, because, let's say I wanted to do something legal about it. I mean, and I could, because
Pues no que tienes la credit card de unlimited, cabrón.
Why don't you go to the authorities and report your children out there?
I don't want to seem like I'm attacking you or that I'm saying something. I think I voiced this even way before, Frank. So don't think that I'm just trying to say something. I think it's just because at this point, they're accusing us of all kinds of stuff. It's been thrown out time and time again, and I mean, if anyone has a case, I think it's you. She went to your house. She's done the most of everything, and that's just. And I even said that about. I said that also about. I think me and your wife had a thing about it, and she said that she was gonna do something.
And it's just that I don't think at this point, Frank, finances should be an issue, because I think as much evidence as you have against her, you should have a solid case against her to take action, so that she doesn't keep harassing you and your family, and then keep pushing it forward and pressing on it, till it gets into a DA's office or something, and have it escalated.
Right. So one of the main things, Frank, that I see here is that what are you waiting for? And everything seems to be rolling in the right direction, but I'm still sit back, Frank, and I say, you know what? You stand up for everybody else. And I say, your children, Frank, why don't you go to the authorities? Why don't you do something like that? I care for you. We're friends and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll back you up 100%.
But Cecilia, the same thing I asked you, that same question. What did you do when she put your daughter out?
I made a police report, and I went through, and I've continued to follow up with it.
So what advice would you give?
The same thing. I mean, I did, and I get it. Things take time.
No, they do take time, and it's not to say that I haven't actually consulted with the police department, but it's just one of those things that it's just gonna take time, and I've gone and I've just basically asked what's going on, and I mean, to be honest, I don't think nothing's gonna be done, and even if I could, like, okay, let's say if I wanted to get some legal.
I mean, Frank, you have it on video where she swings at you first. We've all seen the video.
Oh yeah. No, I actually did go to the police on that. They're not gonna do anything about it. I mean,
how do you know?
Here's the thing. Huh?
How do you know? I mean, that's an assault. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a cop, and I'm not a cop, but I mean, I've been a paralegal for 10 years, and I mean, most of the cases, if you swing first, you assaulted, and you just retaliated.
And I think that's just your.
And even if the cop tells you, well, you shouldn't have gone to the street, but you did, and she shouldn't have swung at you. Bottom line,
Like, well, what I'm saying is that the Houston police literally says that the video was too grainy, but from the looks of it, like we're both arguing, whatever. But
see, what I'm trying to get across here is that they're running to the authorities with certain things. But why don't we take action ourselves? Why don't we go to the authorities? Why don't we start reporting too? Why don't we do something about it? Why do we have to sit back and wait?
Personally, I'm not gonna go to the police for every little petty thing, dude. You know?
Yeah,
because,
but
I'm not gonna be calling. I don't have a lot of time to be spending all day. Like, I'm gonna make a police report, guys. I'm gonna make a police report.
Well, I have a question for you, and this is not because I want to call you out, but if you have time, just enough time, like I did. You made time for Vanessa and you made time for Ronya, but you can't make time to go to the police report. Frank, it's priorities, carnal. It's not that I want to call you out, carnal, but it's priorities. And I think your kids, you should treasure them. You know.
Yeah, and real quick, I know one of the things, because you keep going back saying like you don't want to be calling the cops for just any petty stuff, but you're building a case against somebody who's constantly harassing you. And not only that, you're probably thinking, the cops are not going to do nothing about it, but you never know, because you know what, when things get filed to the police department, the file does get passed on to different people. It's just going to fall into the right hands, and you just have to kind of go with it and stay persistent on it.
But I mean, if I stood on proof of Lahonia coming to my house and having done anything about it, what are they going to pursue?
Wait, give us a minute. Yeah. And I think at this point, and Frank, I think everyone's going to get questioned. You call me out, call Frank, call Jaime out, call everybody out, because this is the time, like, we need to put it all on the table. It's getting excessive. It's getting to the point where they're trying to press charges, they're trying to go into another thing when there's some real shit that has happened, and we're just, all this other nonsense is getting written out.
Mm-hmm. It's because there's 1,000 things, like you can't lump everything together. Like there's different things that Dorna's done that they're not gonna say, this ties together with this. Like it has to be a separate case, and there's really nothing that's gonna be done. At the end of the day,
you think there's nothing going to be done. I just heard a live confession, and I'm pretty sure if Miss Painter goes to the police off with Vanessa, something's going to happen.
So guys, we have a special guest here that just got here with us. And so we're going to go ahead and give her the opportunity to come here on board with us.
Well, really quick. Okay, who's there?
We have a special
guest.
We're going to announce her in a little bit. She's coming on.
What did you do, Frank?
Before I go, the only way this is gonna end is when Ronya dies.
Okay. I wanted to do.
I don't think though. I think I don't think Ronya has to die for it to end.
No, we're not like her.
She has to die for this to end.
I don't know.
Okay, so Frank, let's not wish upon death upon anybody, but we're gonna move forward. Frank, thank you for calling us, and I love and I care for you, Carla. Don't take it personal.
We're telling you, Frank,
it's just the fact that we want people to take action. That's what it is.
Yeah, let's start.
Thank you, bye-bye. So guys, we have Vanessa Tijerina here with us. She took the time to join our live here. You want to switch?
Yes,
we're going to switch. We're going to go ahead and switch some chairs, guys. Come on board, Vanessa. And
you want
to sit here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Let the light go. Careful, Vanessa.
And I think before everyone starts commenting, because I know everyone feels a certain type of way, I think we need to keep focused on the fact that we're here to talk about a group of people that are saying they're uniting to end this.
Right.
So let's end this. You know what I mean?
Greater purpose.
It's a greater purpose. Like we're gonna end this. I mean, let's see how this goes.
So guys, I brought here Vanessa for so many reasons, Vanessa, and I brought you here because I want to know certain things that have been going on. You know, you've been harassed, you've been stalked, you've been a victim to an organized crime. What are you waiting for to go to the authorities, to take action as a person?
I've gone.
And what have they done for you?
Oh, ignored me.
Why do you think that is, Vanessa? Honest, in all due honesty, no. I mean,
complete honesty, because I was the person that was opposing them for such a long time, and for them to actually validate something and say, "Hey, she's actually a victim," would be for them to admit that they, in themselves, either with their actions or their inactions, caused a situation where people thought it was going to be easy to victimize me. That's why the person that is now gathering together in a unison to hate, they're choosing to normalize hate. Mm-hmm. That is precisely the reason why that person felt empowered. That person just called police station, but I'm not in trouble, right? Nobody made a report, right?
Yeah, because I've heard that. Honestly, I've heard that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I've heard her call the cops. I've heard her call the cops and say, like I've heard her call the cops and be like, well, I'm not going to get in trouble, right? Like, this is not a big deal, right? Or, hey, mija, ¿cómo estás? Like, so
how are you going to decide? How are you going to take a report, decide, investigate within a 3-hour span or a 24-hour span that somebody actually did this or not? And when you do this in front of a community, not only does that person continue to be empowered, but you empower every other person that's a lower level thinker than even that person.
How do you feel, Vanessa, with these false accusations they're doing on you? I know you're a very strong woman. You went through so much in life. But
you know what, my friend, I want to start from the beginning, because I think this is what I've always wanted to hear. In all honesty, I think when I brought Ophelia, and I should have never started with her, was I wanted to know what the deal was. Like, I've even tried to research it on myself. Like, where does all this hate stem from? Like, I get it, like sometimes you have a little feud, because I've had a lot of feuds with people online, but I get over it. They don't affect my life as much as she has affected your life. Like, she has gone above and beyond to try to figure, like, to be like, I want
to destroy me.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, hearing that, like, whether she planted fake drugs, real drugs, I don't care what she did, just the intent was like, damn, woman, you would go that far to...
If you would go that far, then what makes anybody think that you wouldn't go far enough to conspire to torture the same human being that you haven't been able to be successful at planting something or framing her in another way?
I have a question for you, Vanessa.
Sure.
Earlier today, they sent me a screenshot where Glow had mentioned these false accusations, calling you a child molester, right? Okay. And so I know that all this circulated. John Allen tried to get you arrested by Brownsville PD, and went after a certain way. How do you feel that these individuals are continuing to make all these false allegations upon you as a person, as a woman? So why haven't you done anything towards John Allen? Is my question.
What makes you think I haven't? Honestly.
What makes me think you haven't is
because the authorities haven't moved on it?
Yes.
Okay, well then why do you think the authorities didn't take a report on Lupe Olivares, even though they saw...
But if you feel the chief of police from Raymondville is corrupted, why haven't you gone with the Rangers? Or you have?
Oh, because the law in Texas states, yeah, I did.
There's a chain of
I just got off the phone with Officer Evans,
okay,
actually, and he is the ranger in charge of Willacy County. There are 3 rangers under him, and he literally stated that if the district attorney, which I've been telling y'all for 7 years, if the district attorney chooses...
You've been going on for 7 years?
7? Oh, with her?
Yeah.
With this lady? No, this has been going on for like almost 3 years.
Okay. Jeez, that was insane.
So out of all this thing, do you feel one day there's going to be a resolution for yourself?
Yes, but I wonder at what cost. Like, what actually has to happen to me? Because I truly believe that John Allen and her were the ones that were behind getting everything together on the day that I was tortured. And during that time, if he becomes so desperate, you all know what desperate men do. You all know how far a desperate man will go to destroy a woman that will be his destruction.
Right. So I asked this question, Vanessa. What encouragement can you give out to the public for anybody who has been victims of Ophelia, John Allen, Chloe, Velda, and anybody else? What encouragement or what words of wisdom would you give out there for any of these victims?
Well, ask questions. You're going to ask questions, okay?
Well, that's the question that I have.
You're going to ask questions. I'm sorry. You're going to make reports. You're going to make reports. You have to make reports.
Yeah.
And you have to attempt to make a report. And when you make a report, you can't go in there and just trust that the police are going to take your report. Obviously, as you've seen with me, I've actually made live videos where the police are like, well, that's not harassment. And it's not up to you. You're not even putting it up to an investigator so that they can determine if it's harassment or not. You're not even giving me a report number. And the way that it should be is you should give me a report, and if there's nothing founded in which you can prosecute somebody, well, that's fine, but at least the report was made. Even when you apply for a protective order, they have made the laws. It used to be that you couldn't state all of the dates and all of the events that led to you to strengthen your application for a protective order. They had to be backed up. Each date have to be backed up by a police report. Now the law says that you do not have to have the strength of a report, because now they know that some victims are too afraid to come forward to make the report. But the whole purpose of them having it in the first place so that you can have the report is so that you can leave a paper trail. And so now that we know that officers are refusing to take reports, then go in there and make sure that you record yourself making that report.
Yeah.
Right. So there's an organization here in the Valley, and I spoke about it earlier, by the name of Mujeres Unidas. What do you... how can you define, or how do you define Mujeres Unidas to you? What is Mujeres Unidas?
Well, I've called them before, and really, I'll rather just not comment.
No, but
it's a
non-organization that's there for domestic violence, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to stop right here, because I might get a little bit of hatred back, but so a lot of people are talking, like saying a lot of disrespectful stuff about you, Vanessa, like a lot of shit. You know what I mean? But you know what? We're here because we're fighting someone who's saying a lot of shit about us.
Yeah, everything that y'all are saying is the reason that I'm here.
Yeah, and it's there, like
just because all of y'all are saying it with no platform.
Yeah,
there is no difference between 100 of y'all coming over here to say that versus your queen hate. All right, there's no reason. There's no difference.
So there's people out there hating on hating, and then y'all are getting hated on. Like, come on, we're just running a cycle here. Like, we're trying to fix things, and we're trying to make things transparent for everybody to see. Like, this is going on.
See, what they need to understand is that we're all here for the same reason. We've all been attacked by that individual.
Yeah,
we've all been a victim to Ophelia's. Either she's been stalked by her, made fun of her children. I've been made fun of attacking my sexual preference. My mother saying that I'm a child molester, saying I have AIDS. Your daughter.
Yeah,
so we've all been a victim to this.
Why don't you give them a moment of silence, just to show how bad the hate is? I'm not kidding. This is what I do often. When they're acting like this, I don't say anything.
Well, it's very few, but I'm reading them, and I wanted to address it because I think that's something that we need to talk about, because I get it. And you know what, Vanessa, like I said, I have no hate towards you. I have no judgment towards you. Whatever has happened in the past, it's happened in the past. And what you're doing now is completely different. And at this point, I mean, people would say they were judging you because you were running for this, you were running for that.
Yeah.
Or you're not running for nothing right now. You're trying to fucking exist.
I'm trying to exist. I'm trying to make sure that I not just thrive, but I at the very least survive. And what they want to do is they want me not to exist. That's why they organized that crime against me. They tortured me. And the one thing that they told me during that video, and the thing is, what people don't understand is those videos exist. There were recordings on 2 different phones. What is the world going to say? All of you that are hating on me, obviously my life doesn't mean anything to you, but what are you going to say when you find out that the lies of that woman, I was not there prostituting myself, I was not there doing drugs, right? I was literally lured over there because my life was in danger, and they were going to explain how people were trying to take my life. All right? What are people going to say when they see that video, when they see those 3 hours of torture? Do you think that the world's never going to see it? And how are all of you going to feel that you were one of those people who were attacking me? I'm not some show here. I'm a human being. And the reason that people even know who I am is because I was forced to survive. And what about my black bra?
Everybody has a background.
Don't read them no more, Vanessa. Don't even read
And you
it.
know what? That's okay. Read the comment. I'm going to explain to it. I'm going to emphasize it here once again. I brought in Vanessa for one main reason, guys. People might not agree or disagree with me. It's okay. At the end of the day, I brought her in because she's been a victim to her, just like you guys have been victims to Ophelia themselves. So, again, put your differences aside. This is not about let's talk shit about her, let's talk shit about me, let's talk shit about... This is about facts, guys, and being truthful to ourselves. How many of you all have been victims to her? Not only myself, but her. I'm not saying what she's done is right or wrong or whatever she's doing in her personal life. I don't care. It's not my life. It's not my life. The thing is, we have a common denominator here is one person who has attacked her, her children, myself, my family, her and her family as well.
Oh, and my husband también.
And your husband, Frank's kids, Brenda's mom, Liz, Rosa's parents,
not
everyone.
only that, and I saw a video earlier where she again is still trying to get into the marriage of, I don't even want to say his name because I still have an issue with him. But Carla doesn't deserve what she's trying to do to Carla. She is so divisive that whatever connection anybody has, whether it's been a repaired connection or it's been a connection that has never been able to be divided by her, she still tries to divide, and it's shit that doesn't even matter.
And I think Vanessa, earlier I was telling Jaime, I said, this is what I'm talking about. Like, even though you don't like Frank or you have issues with Frank, whatever it is, you can still coexist with Frank. You're not going to talk about him. He's not talking about you. Am I right? You're not gonna go team up with him.
He mentioned my daughters just literally about a month and a half ago, but he's not as bad as this woman is.
Okay,
that's the truth.
But you're not gonna team up with him.
Your battery's 5 minutes.
You're not gonna team up with him to take down somebody. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, no.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that. Like for these women,
have I done that?
No. And these other
he's come at me for 3 years. And I've never done that.
These other 4 women that are united apparently now, like they were at each other for I don't know how long, done each other dirty, done all kinds of stuff, like they teamed up.
They wanted to destroy each other, but it's like I said, they feel that they are such strong chingona women, and it's like, no, you're not, because you all identified in the very same individual. You all bowed down to her. All 3 of y'all bowed down to her. All 3 of y'all bowed down to her because you were not as strong as her. And because you weren't as strong as her, she literally made the situation, if you cannot beat her, then you're going to join her. And you all bowed down to her. I will never, ever.
So, Cecilia, anything you want to ask Vanessa? Any other questions?
I know, like everybody.
How did it start from the beginning?
Like, well,
let me step out of the way, and I'll sit on that side. Okay. I'm going to allow these women to have a talk, and I want to hear them out myself. Okay. And I will join you all right now, but I'll allow you all to have a great conversation. Let's see that could take over.
Pues, ¿dónde vas?
Acá, como verme because I need to charge my phone.
Ay, el teléfono se cayó.
It's okay.
It's okay. I need to find a box.
Okay. So, Vanessa, like, so how did it start off of everybody, out of everybody? When did it start? So I know, like, in high school, you were very outspoken. They said that you were always outspoken.
Well, I was outspoken. I was outspoken in junior high, but in high school, I really didn't care because I got in so much trouble in junior high for being outspoken. I just wanted to get through high school, period.
But where did it start? Because I always hear these stories. No. I want to go back to the dump. Like, where they're saying, like, it started with Bonnie, and that's kind of where Frank came involved, and it just, like, kind of went on and on and on.
Oh, okay, well.
And I know we're not gonna get through all of this tonight because got a lot of people. It's a long time. His phone's about to die. But it's Jaime and them. What when the whole thing happened with Vanessa, then it kind of trickled on to you started running for something, or where did that come in?
It was 2016, and it was my first election, and so but the hate was already existing. It was just astronomical whenever they saw me put my name on a ballot. They all went totally crazy, everybody that hated me. And the hate started with a man in Mission. That man in Mission did not like me at all. He tried to come after my nursing license. Basically, almost everything that they've tried to do over and over again, that man tried doing in 2016. And it would always die down. Between my arrest, it would die down. Between elections, it would die down. And it just got really bad when I had decided there was going to be an open seat for a sheriff. And I understood that in Texas, you don't have to be a law enforcement officer to be able to win the seat of sheriff. You don't. And so I knew that it was going to be a huge political statement. And I knew that whatever position I'm put in, I will be the best at. Even if it's a position that maybe that's not what I would have chosen, I would still be the best at it if I got it.
So what was the hate based on? Like, what were they saying? Like,
it was based on that.
That they just didn't like you? Or that they felt...
that I was dating a nephew. That's the first thing. Remember, go all the way back to high school. They didn't know how to discredit me.
Okay.
So they started to discredit me with the arrest in the cases that I've already cleared. And so then as I cleared those cases, I got more and more arrests. So they would discredit me with mugshots. They would discredit me with the things that the hateful people in my town would be saying. They would just discredit me in ways of things that didn't matter.
So they kind of nitpicked and just did a whole bunch of
total
stuff.
Nitpicking, total. Her grass is too tall. Remember that, Raymondville, Willacy County? You remember that? Do you remember that?
Wow, your grass was too tall.
Yeah, my grass was too tall.
So tell me some of the crazy things that you remember them saying. Okay, one, your grass was too tall.
My grass was too tall, that I was dating my nephew. When he wasn't my nephew, I didn't even know that he existed until he was 23 years old and he inboxed me. And then he's not my nephew, which is something that a lot of the stuff that it was Frank that started a lot of it. And the thing is, he created the monster that we are now speaking against. And that is the truth. And so he recruited her because and let's be honest, and he knows that too. And now even his family has to deal with the effects of his choices. And a lot of other people do. He empowered her. And that's why she's been able to do all this to us, because it went to her head.
I agree with that.
Consequences.
Those are the consequences. When you create a monster, you're going to have to deal with their wrath.
So then once she found out that, so she pretty much hated you because you were dating her nephew.
No, she didn't even know. She wants to say, you know what really bothers me is when she calls me her neighbor. Because whenever she calls me her neighbor, she makes it seem like this is just some kind of neighborly feud. No, this is real, true, 100% unadulterated hate. Period. You saw a woman. Okay, let's break it down. If you know what you know about how you have interacted with this woman, what's your honest opinion? Would you think that, when I ask you this, do you think throughout her whole life, if she saw females that she was, she's always been a little envious and jealous, right?
Yeah, I believe, this is just my opinion, okay? And you can agree to disagree. I feel that she doesn't want anyone to do better than her.
Exactly.
I feel like once you surpass her, you're her enemy. And it's just because, she feels a threat because of what you just said. She has probably never been that popular person, or she doesn't know how to contain herself. So that's the only way she knows how to control it. And then she was
always chubby. And she was always chubby, and she throws it in everybody's face. If you want to lose weight, then go and spend the money like I did to get the gastric bypass surgery. Otherwise, you want to be fat because you want to be fat is things that she has stated in various different phrases. It's all the same thing it's all the same point that she's trying to make. So when you've always been this chubby girl and she acts like she's gotten play, her whole life, for men and stuff like that. But that kind of mind, that it went then to her head when she was no longer chubby. And so she found herself, now in a thin body. And now, of course, she's going to think she's more attractive. And then all of a sudden you see this woman, when you thought you were strong, you thought you were loud, you thought you were outspoken, and this woman, which was me, outdoes you by a millionth degree. You could literally never reach whatever level of anything that you're envious about her. You could never even reach that. It's going to infuriate you.
So you never ever
I never had a conversation with her. I never met her. She literally disliked me on sight. As soon as she knew of my existence, her hate began. No one did anything to her. It had nothing to do with whoever I was dating. She tries to make it seem like it is these little things that most people have arguments with.
Yeah. I always thought, in all honesty, I thought like she says, y'all were your neighbor.
Yeah.
Y'all like somehow.
And that's what she wants the world to believe.
Yeah, and that's what I thought.
Because to believe the truth would be crazy.
Yeah, would not make sense.
It would show how pathological she really is. It would show how psychotic she really is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things, I think, Frank, like he said, that everybody blames him. I don't think everybody blames you, but they know a lot of it stems from what has started. And I think
you created her. He
can
recruited her because it was looking really bad that it was a man just coming after me. Please believe me, I know how hate works. I wouldn't be able to survive it so well if I didn't know how hate works. And so I knew right away that he recruited her because it was looking ugly for him to keep coming after me. And the sad thing is that he created this thing, and now I see Carla being put down. I see all of this happening, and I'm like, it wasn't even any of her fault. Me and her have never even had an issue, ever.
Okay.
And that's because her husband literally tried to do what he tried doing to me is what she's trying to do to me now.
So I've heard somewhere that RJ is your childhood friend.
No, we've never. No. Right now, when we get off, you can see our messages. She reached out to me about 1.5 years ago.
So she never went to school? Like, well, she probably went to school.
No, she was in a graduating class. She wasn't even in high school when I was in high school. We never spoke. We never met each other. We never knew each other. And you'll see whenever she reached out to me in messages.
But she became a really good friend to you?
Well, she had to gain my trust. And now, if you look at the messages, she even says, like, I know that you've been, you can't trust anybody, this and that.
Has she ever told you that the chief of police is her cousin?
All the time.
She always says, so that comes. And that, okay. So what do you think? What do you think of RJ going over there after, like, she was your friend and she was Jaime's friend, and then for her to just go and unite with someone, like she's saying, to make the peace?
What do you mean?
Like, she supposedly, like, that's what Ophelia's whole page is, to make peace. Like,
no, it's not to make peace. Just the same, nothing that woman ever says is what it actually is. It never is what it actually is. Ever. If she tells you, I'm doing this because I just want to sell lemonade, you can guarantee that the reason that she's doing it is something that's probably the total opposite of that. But she never wants you to even suspect that's the truth. So she wants you to believe that it is this other thing. It's a charade. It is covering up that you're uniting for hate. And what's so sad is that she really thinks that she is smart enough to manipulate the region. And you know what? Sadly, there's a lot of people in our region, as you can see, a lot of her followers will fall for that. But I really believe that there is a lot of her followers as well that just hate me. They just hate me. And she's the one that's the loudest, most opposing against me. And because they can't do what they wish that she could do whenever she's, talking against me, they follow her.
Yeah.
Even though they probably themselves don't really like her.
So a lot of the characters, like, and I think I remember, like, in the beginning, I was all like, I even made a board and stuff, and I was like, the characters and this.
Yeah,
and
that really kind of bothered me.
And I'm sorry, because again, I honestly thought this was fake, Vanessa. I in this world, I guess, because and a lot of people have said that, like, you live in a different city, a bigger city, something like this would just, like, shut down really quick. But to hear, I thought it was fake, in all honesty, until I met Ophelia, and I was like, oh shit, like, this is a real deal.
Well, I know you thought it was fake, but I'm gonna be honest, because since and I'm a very forgiving person, and I think that now that you've understood just how dangerous she could be, then it really hurt me. Especially, I remember, I will never forget when you said something to the effect, if not exactly, well, she puts her life out there. So,
because again, I thought it was fake. I didn't know the backstory. And I even told you recently that I apologize for not researching it more, because I honestly thought, because a lot of people put, like me, I put my life out there, and that's why I do not put my children out there, because I don't want anyone to backlash on them or to target them.
But it was the pandemic.
Yeah.
And in order for me to survive, I was always going to have my daughters with me.
Yeah. No. And I mean.
And so one of the things is because when we got into the story, it kind of, I guess you could say we entered in the middle of it, right? So we didn't know the backstory. when we reached out to you, we wanted to hear your perspective, and we wanted to hear Ophelia's perspective to kind of see what was going on, because again, we thought that it was.
And now can you see, now that you know in retrospect?
Oh yeah.
Now do you understand why I would never want to share a stage with her?
Of course.
Now do you understand how I was like, these ladies, they don't understand, this is not an equal thing. I am a target. They are target. She is targeting me. I'm surviving that.
So looking from the outside in, like I could honestly say, like, I could give you a lot of props, because looking from the outside in, I know you went through a lot. I know you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect out there. We all, like, you can't walk around like your ass don't stink, right? Because everybody has done their stuff, right? But at the end of the day, she created like this whole hate page. And now that I'm looking out from it, I've kind of been in and out of it. But when I look out, I'm like, wow, she's the one who's like trying to diminish somebody, trying to break down somebody.
And I think
everything that she has said to me about anybody that
is true about what she does.
No, she's deflecting. Yes. That's my point. She's deflecting, and she's saying this person's doing this, and this. In all reality, she's the one who's actually doing all this stuff, not only to you, but to other individuals. She's done it to, even to our podcast members, to other people.
And to be honest,
has nothing to do with it too.
And to be honest, it's I think with her, it is scarily, and not because she's some badass that we should be afraid of. I believe there's a certain, perhaps undiagnosed situation, which is scary, because that is completely unbridled. And then there's rage, and then there's maybe a cognitive issue, which means sometimes you can be mean and maybe you don't have a mental illness, but you're just mean and you have a low capacity of understanding, which nobody is going to want to believe. They're going to want to believe that they're very smart, that they're all knowing. But if you notice, everything that she says in her videos are things that I have said. Yeah. The other day she said something about, I can get this piece of paper and I can tell you everything about paper and how paper was made. And it's like, that's literally my sentence. Like those are my lines.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that too, because I've used a couple of words and she starts using them, and that's just her not comprehending.
She doesn't have her own vernacular. Yeah. She takes on other people's personas.
Yeah, and she actually, I don't know, like she looks for people, and a lot of people who don't follow her are people that are very naive, right? So, and that's her target, because then she's utilizing them and then creating this hate. If she created a women's group, right, for the purpose of she's saying like, oh, abusive women and all this stuff, why are you talking about?
Why are you abusing other women?
Yeah, why are you abusing other women? Why are you making other people suffer out there? Your page ultimately is to encourage people who have been through domestic violence relationships, and so that they could grow, right? To share a testimony of women who have been out of those relationships. But what she does is she's creating unity with some women who are now creating hate. And
but it goes back to what we said. It's just a more sophisticated way of her saying, this is water when it's actually alcohol.
Yeah. She's done it all the time. I've seen it.
So I got out of the picture. Yeah. And I'm going to explain to you why I got out. I wanted to have a segment with you guys being the women empowerment, right? Mm-hmm. All of you have had a living testimony in life. You know, you had your paralysis at one point in your life. You were bullied as a teenager. You've dealt I dealt myself.
I had a domestic violence relationship.
So I got on this platform because I wanted to hear your living testimony, and your living testimony. Because I might have females watching my show that have experienced what one of y'all have experienced in life. Yes. And what I want to know is, I want y'all to share your living testimony. Mm-hmm. I want y'all to be truthful to yourself and tell them, you know what, I've gone through this in life, and this is the impact that I could do in your life. So I want to start off with you, Cecilia.
Well, I mean, I had a rough life. You know, I grew up a single parent home. I want to cry just talking about it, because it does affect you. You know, a lot of people, I grew up with a single parent, you know, it was hard, but you know what, I chose to to change, to break the cycle. Me and my husband been together 25 years. We've been through ups and downs. You know, our kids, we've put them through school. We've been, I've had family dislike the fact that I continue to just keep going forward. So I felt the hate before. I felt people say like, oh, it's wrong. You shouldn't do that. You know, I've had judgment. So I can, when I hear some of the things and I hear some of the things that Vanessa has gone through, I'm like, how could you do that? Like what, it's crazy. Like just people judging you constantly, like just coming out of your house and feeling that and just being like, how do you continue going? You know, I'm the first one to always say, let everybody talk. But at the end of the day, that does, it affects you in some way because it, you know, it's been years since anyone has brought, I make fun of myself. I always talk about the Bell palsy because, you know, growing up in a Hispanic family, you hear people like all the time, like laugh about it. Like it's not a big deal. So, you know, my mom would be like, everybody would be like, oh, do the Popeye face. And I would do it. And it was funny, you know, but and I'm not crying because Ophelia brought that back because I've even made fun of it myself.
You got very emotional right now, and I know that you got emotional by hearing that you came from a single parent household.
Yeah, because it's hard.
What was your mom's struggles? How was she able to maintain the family together?
Because she worked her ass off. She always put me first. She always did something, and she, you know, she made things happen, and people don't see that, you know. And it does hurt me to hear when they talk about Ophelia, like just sitting her, and I think that's why I bring that up a lot. She sits her ass behind the fucking table all damn day long while her daughter is and that's how it was. You know, my mom had to work. It wasn't like because my mom. So
you see a little bit of a resemblance as her daughter. You see yourself going through that. Yeah, my mom didn't have to.
Way. My mom wasn't there because she didn't want to be there. She was there because she had to work. And I was playing softball. I got a scholarship. I did all this stuff. And this little girl's trying to do so much. And it's just like, oh, you know, it's all right. She has her brothers. She has her cousins. And it's hard, you know, and that makes you think like, damn. And I think that's why I think that's the only bad thing I have ever said about Ophelia. Or maybe I've said some other stuff. But that's the one thing that I always bring up is that she sits behind the table when she could be at her daughter's, you know, at anything. I've never missed any of my kids' events. Dude, when I worked, my husband worked, I would say, oh, I got a doctor's appointment, or I would work later, I would come in earlier. I would always do something to be there for my kids.
And want it different.
I want difference. You want to change.
So, Vanessa, my question to you, and thank you for sharing with that, Cecilia. My question to you is, I want to know your living testimony. As a child, I know you probably grew up in a dysfunctional household like I did, right? I grew up in a single parent household. My dad had an affair down the street. You, Vanessa, are a woman. And I've seen hurt in you, and I've seen you struggle in life, and I've seen you trying to find yourself and dig out of yourself out of this hole. What testimony can you tell our viewers where you could make an impact in someone's life, Vanessa?
We don't even have time for that, but in a nutshell, from entry into adulthood, in junior high, without being asked, without being told, without being guided, I broke the curses of the ancestral curses of my family. I refused to go down the exact same road. When I became a single mom, when I knew that I was going to be a teen mom, I immediately went into survival mode, and I've been in survival mode ever since I was an adult. And I told myself that I was never going to depend on a man, and I haven't. As old as my son is as long as I've been a nurse. And I've just survived. That's it. That's all I've done is survive.
And Michelle, and thank you for sharing that with us. Michelle, what is your living testimony? I know that, and I'm gonna say this, man. You and I have struggled a little bit with weight ourselves. You know, I've had that issue myself too. But your living testimony, you said you've gone through domestic violence and stuff like that. We have women here that might be going through the same issue. What advice would you give them? What encouragement of words can you tell our females, our viewers, our silent viewers, that there is hope if you're going through domestic violence?
Yeah, so basically, let me introduce myself because a lot of people are asking, like, who am I? I'm Cecilia's cousin. I'm La Prima 210, and I have a podcast called La Prima 210 Podcast, and it's on Facebook. And so real quick about myself is that, yes, I have struggled with weight. I was bullied all my life, you know what I mean? Because I was always the tallest one. I'm like 5'10". I was like the tallest girl, the heavy set. person, and I just all the attacks I've ever gotten has only made me stronger. You know what I mean? I was in an 11-year domestic violence relationship, and a lot of people will always tell you like, oh, get out of that relationship, get out of this, but it's easier said than done. It was a struggle for me. And the one thing I could tell anybody who's going through any domestic violence relationship is that you got to keep pushing. You have to build a support system. You have to communicate with somebody in your circle, whether it's a friend or family member, to stay in touch, to let them know that you're okay, but also looking into therapy, looking into counseling. And if you feel that you can't because of your partner, you have to reach out. There has to be somebody you can reach out to. I've been submitted myself into a battered women's shelter a few times, and one of the things I could say is that you could honestly do it. And to be honest with all of y'all, the 210 La Chismosa, part of it, that when we created the 210 Chismosa page, that was my outlet. That was because my cousin Cece never gave up on me. And you know what? She had my back. I lost a lot of friends. A lot of family members because of the relationship I was with. My friends didn't want to see me hurt. They didn't want to see me go through that. But at the end of the day, I still had my family, because we grew up like, my family, my cousins were like my best friends. And so when we created the 210 La Chismosa, me and Cece, we would sit and we're like, hey, let's do something. And it was right when COVID hit. I had just left my relationship, and then we started like talking, and then after that we were like, come on, let's do this. Let's start like getting online and doing this and starting to do things for fun. And then it just kind of took off from there. But that was one of the reasons why we created the 210, and it kind of kept my mind occupied. So that's another thing that you want to do. If you're in a domestic violence relationship, you want to keep yourself involved in something. Look for an outlet. Try not to look to drugs. Try not to look for alcohol or like sleeping around. A lot of people who are in domestic violence relationships also think that sleeping around is an outlet. It's not. You want to turn to love yourself and figure out who you are at the end of the day. And then, eventually you'll get out of it. It is hard. I'm not gonna deny it. It took me 11 years to get out of that relationship, but it is very possible. So I've been 2 years away from that relationship.
So Michelle, I have another question for you. I know that you've spoken about domestic violence, this relationship. I want to talk about weight. I've struggled with it myself, right? You've gone through bi-gastro surgery, yes, whatnot. Some of our viewers have issues with the weight, like I do, like a lot of us do.
Yes.
What advice can you give them, especially women, to embrace their body, to learn how to love themselves without people trying to single call
body
them?
Shame.
Yes, body shame.
Yeah.
What advice can we all give them? All three of you. I want to hear you all.
I think because I'm still in the process of losing weight and on my journey, and I was, if I could show you a picture I would, but I was like close to 500 pounds, right, at one point. And I've lost like almost over 200 pounds, almost like 60 pounds away from my goal. But one of the things is that I did have the gastric sleeve, and it was a tool for me. It was a tool for me because after a while, then you have to put in the work. Right? It's not going to give you 100% of an outcome. You have to put in the work. You have to stay active. I'm still like chunky still, and I still feel confident, like sometimes I wear these little crop tops. I don't care. I'm like, hey, it's body positive. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, you know what? I'm proud from where I was and to where I am now. Like, I'm proud of it. And I think like you shouldn't be ashamed of yourself no matter what. And my mindset is, mindset's different. I'm like, nobody does for me.
Hold on, somebody's gonna call.
Hello? Okay, great. It's Carla wanted to call in the show, guys. So I have her here with you guys. Let me move the camera right there. Does it fit? Do y'all come out, Michelle?
Yeah.
Scoot in.
A little bit.
Is this all the way up?
And I'm gonna allow you all to continue having the show because this is a woman empowerment segment right here, guys.
Hello, Carla. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hi. Bueno, para empezar, quisiera decir que yo nunca he tenido nada en contra de Vanessa, no la conozco,
Entonces no puedo tener nada en contra de ella si yo no la conozco, ¿verdad? Todo el mundo sabe, y no lo estoy diciendo ahorita porque ella está ahí, o sea, desde siempre Francisco y yo somos dos personas completamente diferentes y tenemos opiniones diferentes y eso no nos hace un mal matrimonio.
No.
Porque somos diferentes, somos dos personas que no tenemos que pensar igual. Entonces, lo único que quiero decir es que estoy escuchando que están hablando acerca de que quizás han pasado en sus vidas algún periodo de maltrato o algo así. La verdad es que mi vida ha sido muy bendecida, nunca he tenido, desde mi infancia, mi familia es una familia normal, mexicana, somos muy unidos. Nunca he tenido un problema de bullying hacia mi persona y qué curioso que ahora que soy una persona adulta es cuando lo estoy sufriendo.
Yeah.
Yo nunca he estado en ningún problema, nunca he hablado de nadie y se me hace bastante curioso que como personas adultas que somos no puede haber un límite. O sea, yo no sé, así como ustedes lo están diciendo, yo no sé dónde va a parar esto. O sea, yo no sé qué es lo que tiene que pasar para que esto pare. Sabiendo que yo no me hago ni la inocente. Y quiero también otra cosa dejar bien claro. Yo no es que yo le tenga miedo a esta persona. No la quiero cerca de mi vida, eso sí, no la quiero cerca de mi casa. Pero no es que yo le tenga miedo, no, al contrario, soy una persona muy empática y a mí me da, sorry, pero a mí me da lástima. O sea, es una persona de, ¿qué edad tiene? 56 años. Y que se ande peleando conmigo sin yo hacerle nada, que le diga cosas a mis hijos sin mis hijos saber nada del asunto. A ella se le olvida que ella vino a mi casa y hizo llorar a mi niña. Estaba asustada. Hasta el día de hoy, a mi niña que tiene 5 años y que en ese momento tenía 4 años, ella estaba en shock. O sea, mi niña no podía entender lo que estaba pasando.
Porque nunca ha visto algo así, es porque no ha vivido una vida así, como dice usted, es algo raro que pasó.
Sí, y como lo vuelvo a repetir, y ahorita que está Vanessa ahí, ya lo he dicho varias veces, pero realmente ella, el día que me pidió disculpas, mi niño estaba ahí y de hecho yo estaba dormida, él me despertó porque me vio que estaba ahí Vanessa y me pidió disculpas. Y esto no es tampoco para quedar bien con ella. Quiero que Ofelia tenga bien entendido que yo nunca he sido ni una persona que me guste quedar bien con nadie. Yeah. Yo se lo decía a ella en su cara. Porque no, y voy a ser honesta, también en su momento se lo llegué a decir a Francisco, porque dejen de hablar de ella, ¿verdad? ¿Qué les hace ella en su vida? Pero bueno, ese es otro tema, pero también es verdad. O sea, yo soy alguien que frontal, yo soy muy transparente y yo soy una persona muy calmada, pero también tengo un límite, ¿ok?
Exactamente.
Entonces, esas cosas que, ¿cómo puedo yo decir que no quiero hablar de mujeres si eso es lo que ella ha hecho contigo, Cecilia, con tu prima, con Vanessa, conmigo, con, no sé, infinidad de mujeres? Esto no es una cuestión de género, como dice de Francisco hacia las mujeres. Realmente no es una cuestión de género, porque es peor cuando te atacan entre mujeres. Es más triste. Se supone que te debes de apoyar, ¿no? Con otras mujeres.
Exactamente.
Entonces, ¿por qué decir que nada más es de un hombre o de Jaime contra mujeres? No, a ver, espérame. O sea, eso es algo que ella ya trae en su naturaleza. Yo no sé qué habrá vivido esta mujer. Yo no sé qué le habrá pasado en la vida. Supongo que algo bastante triste. para que ella tome esta actitud hacia la vida. Ella tiene 56 años y otra cosa también. Tú, Cecilia, que tienes una plataforma, o Francisco, o Vanessa, o Jaime, lamentablemente están expuestos a que la gente va a hablar de ustedes.
Exactamente. Ajá, van a hablar. Todos van a hablar.
Entonces, bien o mal, van a hablar de ustedes.
Exactamente.
¿Okay? Entonces, si ustedes están en ese punto, pues ahora sí que, como decimos, pues a veces nos tenemos que aguantar, ¿verdad? Entonces, qué raro que ella diga, ella no habla de nadie, que no habla mal de ella. Yo ahorita estoy diciendo lo que yo pienso, pero yo no le estoy faltando el respeto. Yo estoy diciendo lo que yo pienso sobre esta situación.
Ya.
¿Ok? Pero no es una cuestión de que si ella puede más y que toda la sarta de tonterías que ella dice. ¿Qué es lo que ella puede más? ¿Sentarse en un monitor para estar echando madres, como vulgarmente se dice? ¿Eso es lo que ella puede más? Es cuestión de educación, es cuestión de valores, es cuestión de cómo te criaron tus padres. Y yo jamás, ni tengo el tiempo de verla porque yo trabajo, yo tengo 2 niños chiquitos, y por salud mental yo no la voy a ver y yo no la voy a seguir. Pero sí sé que ella bastantes veces habla de mí, porque a veces también la gente me manda cosas y como sé que hace, no sé, la semana pasada creo, no sé qué día ayer, no sé, no recuerdo. Creo que estaba diciendo que quería, que si me veía que me iba a golpear y que
iba a pagar a alguien, que le iba a pagar a alguien que te golpeara y que y que el otro.
Wow, like that, I cannot believe that by saying that people still don't get this.
Yeah, like the connection.
Yeah.
Sí. Y puedes creer todavía que diga que si se quiere, odio esta palabra, pero que si se quiere mear en mi cara, eso es lo que ella le está enseñando a quien la siga. O sea, diciendo literalmente que me quiere golpear y que se quiere mirar en mi cara. Eso es algo que una persona de 56 años va a decir. Una persona, porque no somos animalitos, ¿verdad? Eso es lo que nos diferencia, el razonamiento. Entonces, ¿qué es eso? O sea, es que es increíble lo que esta mujer puede decir. Que si habla de mi vida matrimonial, pues yo no creo que ella sea alguien para dar consejos.
Ya, porque ella no está casada.
¿Cuántos matrimonios ella tiene?
Ni tiene alguien.
Ni tiene viejo, ni tiene nada.
Carla.
Sí, y yo no estoy diciendo si ella quiere estar soltera y ella es feliz soltera, qué bueno. Pero entonces,
deja
no
uno.
que la vida de otros.
Sí.
Carla, quería decirte algo y tú sabes que yo no hablo español muy bien, ¿ok?
Oh, no, you can tell me in English. You can tell me in English.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. The other day, I didn't know this, but if I would have known, I don't like that man, Manning. But if I would have known what was happening, I want you to know this. If I would have known, that's the only time I would have called into Manny's show. Because I heard the other day, and it really bothers me. It bothers me when people make fun of people, period. But that lady, the one that also hates me, that also calls into her page all the time, they were like...
Who's that?
They were ganging up on you, Annette Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna talk about Annette.
I was about to make her video. Annette, your little TikTok video is going to be posted after this, just so you know. I'm finally going to let everybody know those messages and see those messages. But Carla, I noticed that I don't like that because I come from a city where they make fun of you a lot. My graduating class was half white, half Hispanic. It was the last one that was like that. Every graduating class after that, it was more Hispanics than Anglos until there was virtually no Anglos. And people in my generation and but more people generations before me had to deal with people who spoke better English saying things like that. And whenever they were doing that, believe me, I want you to know that had I known that, I would have called and I would have defended you. Because one thing, I admire you so much because I wish that there's anything that I could wish that I could do is speak Spanish as fluently and as beautifully as you speak Spanish. I wish I could. But seriously. And so, the fact that those ladies could not put you down in any other way and had to resort to put you down by your broken English is the same thing as somebody who speaks fluent Spanish making fun of me whenever I speak broken Spanish. My point is this, and to what you were saying, what that lady does is never going to make sense to you because you don't hate. What she does will only make sense to people who hate. It will only make sense to people who share the same kind of heart that she does. It'll only make sense to people who have the same mentality that she does in every single way, who are as emotionally immature as her, who are as psychopathic as her, who are as sociopathic as her. Hate will never make sense to people who are kind. Hate will never make sense.
And see it reverse.
Yes.
They'll always see it reverse.
And you will always find yourself wondering, how at this age can this happen? How with this going on in your life can this happen? How is there nothing in your life to govern the level of evil and hate that you put into this world? It is because you can't understand it because your heart is not like theirs. A kind person will never understand hate.
And I think that was one of the things, like even coming out like of a domestic violence relationship, my question was like, how could this person hate so much? Why does somebody hate that much? I could never see the hate that a person has because I'm not hateful, but only that person could see it, but it's the same thing.
Y hasta este momento, al menos yo con respecto a ella me lo seguiré preguntando. No sé qué yo le provoco a esa mujer, que hable así de mí. O sea, te lo repito, llegar al extremo de decir que si me quiere golpear.
She can't manipulate, Carla. Es porque she cannot manipulate you. She only gets along with people who she can manipulate, and I don't think people can understand that. She only gets along with people that she can control.
That are beneath her. Yes.
That is why the ladies that are las mujeres que iban a juntarse con ellas o se van a juntar con ellas, si van a seguir juntándose con ellas.
They're her puppets.
Yes, exactly. Ella tiene control sobre ellas en una manera u otra, y ellas todas las tres, ellas saben eso. Ella no quiere a la gente que no puede controlar. A ti no te puede cambiar, no te puede hacer que tú le odies a Frank. No te puede hacer que tú lo dejes a Frank. No te puede hacer que that you allow your marriage to become unraveled. She doesn't like that you are strong enough to survive her. She will never like anyone that can survive her. And with me, that's why she hates me the most, because she knows I will always survive her, no matter what.
Yeah.
A mí no me afecta si ella se burla de mi inglés, porque bueno o malo o malísimo, como lo quieran ver, yo no ofendo a nadie. 2, yo trabajo y, o sea, lo que sé y lo que puedo es lo que me sirve y yo me puedo mantener. Yo no tengo que estar cada mes llorando porque no me alcanza el dinero. Y no me afecta en ese sentido que ella, es que yo no sé por qué ella no entiende que pueden pasar varias generaciones, puede renacer ella cuantas veces se le dé la gana, pero ella no va a hacer que yo me baje al nivel de ella, porque no, o sea, no hay comparación, perdón, y no, o sea, yo jamás me rebajaría a pelearme como literalmente una persona sin educación, estarle insultando, ¿qué es lo que yo voy a ganar? Estar ahí echándole que madres y que si va a hacer brujería y que si bla 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 bla. Aparte, pues tampoco puede decir que su español es tan bueno, porque también eso también es carente. Entonces, o sea, ¿cómo abres la boca si tampoco no es, para empezar la perfección no existe? Yo aquí, en mi trabajo, hay personas hindús, hay personas que tienen bastante acento.
No.
O sea, entonces, ¿qué es lo que me está criticando? O sea, si ella escuchara a estas personas, el inglés de los hindús, etcétera, es peor que el mío.
No, pero
Así es sencillo, pero a nadie le importa. Y aparte estoy en Houston.
es lo que yo digo, estoy hasta en San Antonio, tan locos. Oh my gosh. But here, thank you for calling in.
Carla, gracias por
Thank you,
llamar,
Carla.
gracias, te lo
Thank
agradezco
you.
mucho.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Claudia. Okay, está bien, gracias, bye bye.
And I think that's the one person we didn't talk about was Annette, because she's a big character in this whole
Oh yeah. Everybody, the video that I'm going to post about
I
Annette.
think somebody said Annette was blocked.
And Annette, you're watching. I know you're watching because you're here.
No, that was a while. That was when I first came.
She's watching.
Yeah, she's watching. She's watching. Unblock her. Somebody said she was blocked, so please unblock her, because I mean, this is your chance. Say what you gotta say. And I want to say something, Vanessa. The first time I talked to Annette, Annette, she said, I asked her, I said, why do you hate Vanessa? And
you know what? As a matter of fact, I have her number.
Wait. Let me tell my story first, and then that way she can, because I know she's watching. So Annette said, I hate Vanessa because she's running for office, and my dad lives in this vicinity, and I don't want anyone representing my dad. And I said, okay, so when Vanessa stops running for office, you're gonna lay off, like it's done. And she said, yeah, I'm done, like it's a wrap. So then I don't know what happened, but then she went on to her little rant, and then she said, I think because I disagreed with her, I said something, or I think it was when a video came out of her that she posted herself. She posted her own video out there, and she was upset because it came out. She said, I hope you're proud of yourself. I'll make sure you are employed, which I am not employed, so don't worry about it. Watch me, puta. Ignorant wannabes, all of you. I hope when your mother dies, I am there to disrespect you. I didn't do anything to disrespect you or your mother, so why would you say that? Send your video tonight to They Don't Employ Me, They Employ You. See, you're too ignorant to realize how things work. You should be ashamed of yourself, honestly. You're really a low person. You know it. Your mother must be proud. Doubt it. I'm sure you've been called a puta before me. CPS will be interested in you. So I was like, so now you're calling CPS. And I was a horrible mother, evil example of a woman. Now your kids can get removed too. So like you were celebrating it, and I had a really big deal with that, Vanessa, because that's like, my mom worked, like I said, I guess, and it affects me because my mom worked her ass off, and there was times that I was 12, 13 years old, and she had to go to work and leave me by myself, and people were like would tell her, oh, we're gonna call CPS on you. So even though my mom was busting her ass to do something, but there's always people like that, always saying that. So she said, you won't be after tomorrow. Did you Google that? Because I told her she was incriminating herself, and she said, write it down, take a fucking picture. I don't give a fuck. Your employer and CPS will deal with you accordingly. Stay classy, idiot. And I was like, okay, classy woman. But Annette, if you're out there, definitely call in. Because reconnecting, I think we lost your live. We're live.
She won't. Annette will never call in. She will never call in because now that I challenge Annette. People are gonna see the messages.
Yeah, I got them, and I'll post them. I have
They're
no
gonna
problem.
see my messages. You started off with you're a whore.
Yeah, and then she went on to talk about my daughter, and she wrote, Cecilia, keep your daughter's legs closed. No more abortions in Texas.
Oh my God.
She breeds them. You got to feed them. And then I said, I did retaliate, and I said, go try and procreate, you animal. I told her to go yeah, you know what I mean, like it was just.
Remember, this is the same woman. This is the same woman that said. This is the same woman. This is the same woman who, Annette Gonzalez, this is the same woman who stated, remember, cuando yo estaba chiquita, mi mamá me dijo, mijita, because she would come home and be bullied by the darker girls. No joke. She said this. That she would come home and her mother would, to me, I'm going to call it, that her mother would enable her. And her mother enabled her to believe this. And Annette has held on to it her entire life till this day. She thinks she's better because her skin is lighter. She thinks she's better because she sounds whiter. No joke. She does. Because by her own words, she has stated. So when I was little, and I'll say it in Spanish because she said it in Spanish. When I was little, I would come home and, my mother would say, mijita, there's always, there's nobody that's going to be like you, with green eyes, light skin, big boobs. She said that. I'm not kidding. And so this woman has an overinflated sense of who she is, to such a degree that she puts people down. And I think that her whole life she may have gotten a lot of attention, probably amongst a lot of people, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley. You're going to get attention, especially when you're a blonde. This shit, that only takes you so far.
Yeah.
That only takes you so far. Because now, what attention are you getting? And you're blonde as blonde can be. What attention are you getting? I mean, come on. And so she literally came out 3 days before the anniversary of my daughters being separated from me. And she came out calling me a whore. I'm letting you know this right now because she's going to be denying it.
But you have proof of it.
Oh, yeah. I held on to it for 2 years. I've never, ever let anybody see it. And so I let Annette talk as badly as she's talked about me on that lady's page. And so now tonight after this, I'm just going to go ahead and just let everybody see. And you will see the date, May 31st.
Do you have that on you, Vanessa?
Well, I have my phone on. Otherwise, I would love to show you right now. Yeah. Absolutely would. Absolutely. Oh, so Annette, like, I'm calling you out right now. So you have a mouth. You think you're so smart because you use these words, right?
We'll call in.
You call in right now.
And no disrespect.
Where's that mouth?
Say what you gotta say.
You can invite any peacock to call in.
Anybody want to call in? Anybody want to call in? Anybody?
Yeah. But it just boggles my mind, like how much hatred people could have, and then how they target and how they have all these little tactics. You know what I mean? But one thing that I gotta say is like, when it comes down to it, if you don't have love, you have nothing. You are nothing. You know what I mean? And that is just the bottom truth. Like, you could try to do whatever you can, but if you don't have that love in your heart for people, like, you're never gonna achieve anything but that hatred. And that's all that you're never gonna show no light to anybody or empower anybody or encourage anybody. You're just always gonna be stagnant in that hate.
And that's the reason that I'm able to survive. People ask me how I can survive. I have a never ending, and I don't know how. I have a never ending supply of love. It's never ending. It is never ending. That is why I have to be really careful.
Pin the phone number
of who I get myself into relationships with, because my love will be so much that I will allow people to continue to hurt me because I am so strong. I am that strong. I will, all my heart, with all of it. But just as fiercely as I love is as fiercely as I defend. Which is why I'm waiting for the next.
I think we are pretty much out of time. We'll close it up.
You're going to wrap it up. So I will speak from this side, guys. And
I want to say something because I know I've been crying a lot, and I'm just a sensitive bitch.
You got very emotional, so I want to hear this.
I'm just a sensitive person, especially like something that like touches my heart. I guess like if you see me retaliate on certain things, it's because of that, because it touches me a certain way.
You get very emotional.
Yeah, especially like speaking up for kids, like having a voice, like doing stuff like that. That is something that I'll always do.
So I'll say it again. Why I got on this side of the screen was because I wanted to give you women the opportunity to speak up and share your living testimony. And I want to show women empowerment. People might say, oh, because I love men or whatnot, or like men. That does not signify I'm a woman. I'm still a man.
No, people they forget that you were raised by a very strong woman.
Oh yeah, you know about it. You can go ahead and share that story, Vanessa. You know it yourself.
You know the way that I met Jaime was because somebody that I have a lot of admiration for suggested that I enter politics. And that I go for a very huge seat. Nobody ever does that. Nobody goes directly for a U.S. congressional seat, right? And so never being in politics, never having any power or any money. No one ever does that. It's unheard of. And so because of that, I was able to meet his brother, who is a wonderful person. And through his brother is how I met Jaime. And through Jaime is also how I met his other brother, who is a fashion designer in New York City. In what borough is he in?
Hello?
Is that your brother?
Hello? Yes? Jaime, who's this? Roy's calling in, guys. Roy. Hold on, time out. Roy, what's up, Roy?
What's up, Roy? Hello?
Don't speaker?
Hello? It's on speaker.
Roy.
What's going on?
His connection.
I said I'm listening. I
There you
can't
go.
tell if y'all can hear me.
We can
Okay, we
hear
can
you.
hear you now.
All I wanted to say was I'm just glad that, y'all are finally getting things straight and y'all are finally, doing the right thing and talking right.
I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for everything you and your family have been through.
You're finally doing everything right.
Roy, I'm sorry for everything you and your family have been through. I am so sorry for everything that you and your family have been through. I know what I have been through at the hands of the person that, is the reason that we're here right now. And not because we're afraid of her, but because, we're standing up. All right? But you and your family took a lot of that. And I'm really sorry. And the thing that bothers me the most is that your mom had to deal with that at the very end, and that really bothered me a lot. I'm really sorry, and especially she likes to hit people when they're down. She did that to you when you lost your wife. She did that to y'all when y'all lost y'all's mom. She did it to Sylvia when she lost her husband. And she's just a bully. She's mean and she's evil, and I'm so sorry for everything that you had to go through. I really am.
Well, it's just like I said, I just want to call in, and it's good to see that that everything's finally getting cleared up and everything is coming out.
Definitely, Roy. And I'm sorry I called you the one from the Wizard of Oz?
The lion.
The lion. And I called him Daddy Roy.
Oh,
sorry, Roy.
But
I don't hold grudges with nobody. It's just like I said, I'm just happy that everybody's finally getting along and everything's coming out. The truth is coming out.
yes, definitely.
No matter what, truth will always come to light.
Yeah.
No matter
What's done in the dark will come
to
will
light.
come to light.
But thank you for calling in.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Roy.
it.
Take care.
Yes.
Thank you, Roy.
Oh, and somebody said George Vela might call in. It'll be a wrap. If he calls in, it's a wrap. Justice RGB calls in. We're gonna shut all the pages down.
And honestly, I was gonna tell you, me and Justice RGB have not always been on the same page about things. But you know what? At this point, the level of hate, the way that they're normalizing hate in the Rio Grande Valley, I was gonna tell y'all to get in contact with Justice RGB and let them know that we are doing our best to make sure that hate is not normalized in South Texas.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Hate should never be normalized in South Texas. If hate is being normalized amongst our adults, can you imagine then? Can you imagine their children go to school with your children?
You see, and Vanessa, I want to speak on something like that because you said don't normalize hate, but when normalizing hate is only when it's one-sided. If the other party continues to participate, is it then hate or is it just becoming something else?
We need to educate ourselves into what is defense and what is offense. And we need to educate ourselves into when we should stay quiet and when we should not. And there comes a point where evil gets so bad, or when your life is in danger, or when your children are being affected, that you have to come out and you have to defend. And we just need to realize that there's going to be moments in time where you can't just let it go. You can't just let it go. And the thing is, she knows that. She knows that. She counts on the people that will continue to let it go. Y conmigo se chingó. And she knows that. She knows that. I will let it go to a certain point, but believe me, when I push back, I push back. I push back.
Well,
yeah, it's called a love movement now in the RGB.
It's a love movement.
But
you're choosing love
yes,
and not
choosing
hate.
love.
When you
Yes.
fight against love, and you know what?
That will always overpower.
Yes, and a lot of and I'm glad that you.
and I only brought that up.
I want to bring that. I'm glad that you said that because of this, and that's the problem that's been with me. I have. People will see me and they'll be like, why is she so strong? She must be hateful. She must be this. And people forget that I'm getting distracted.
Yeah.
People forget that sometimes you'll see somebody defending themselves and their defense will be so strong that you forget what it is they had to stand up against. You forget that they were being offended so badly, or that they had to come to the defense of somebody else that couldn't speak on their own behalf. And sometimes somebody is so much stronger than the bully that we forget who was the initial bully. So we also have to remember that not everybody that defends themselves is going to be weak. Once in a while, you're going to get somebody that is one of the greatest defenders.
Vanessa, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have Vanessa Caballero. Some of the fans are asking you if you give them the opportunity to unblock them on your page. Why not do it? Why
Vanessa Caballero? Is that who she asked?
Yeah,
Vanessa?
but no, in general, she's asking a simple question. Would you give the opportunity to the fans?
Is she the lady with like salt and pepper hair that wears
yeah,
red lipstick?
but I mean, she's asking.
She's been mean up until recently, but you know what? I'm going to be a good person, and yeah, of course, and I've said it before. If you want to go ahead, you will have to message. If I have you blocked on my personal page, just message me to my public page, or message them. Message one of them. If I have you blocked on all my platforms, message one of them. But be mindful of this. I give chances, and I'm very understanding. But I'll also make an example out of you if you know.
Yeah, and one of the things is because I was reading on the feed, and a lot of people were asking you to unblock them. And I know through everything that has been going on here in the RGB, there's been a lot of flip-flop, right? So a lot of people go to one team and then they go to another, and then so now they feel like, you know what? Now they're starting to see people's true colors, and then they're like, you know what? I was against I
was on the wrong side.
I was on the wrong side of the team,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And now I want to come back to something that is better for them, or more encouraging, or whatever their case is, you know what I mean? But I think that's why probably a lot of people want to kind of switch sides. But again, that's completely your choice, you know. And Jaime's choice, and you know, for people who are
right,
it goes all the way around.
Again, I want everybody to understand that we're
don't
here.
block nobody.
We're here because we all have something. There's a common denominator amongst each other, right? People might not agree with Vanessa. People might not agree with me or Cecilia. People might have hate on Vanessa, hate on me, and hate in general, right? But at the end of the day, we're here for the same reason. We've all been a victim to one person.
Correct.
So. I want to inform everyone that I got on this side again because I wanted to have these women out here to show women empowerment, to speak up their minds, to allow these women that we have as supporters to feel comfortable with with you guys, right?
Yes.
So it's not that I wanted you all to take over the show, but I wanted to hear you guys out and me sit as a viewer and understand a woman like you all who have been through so much in life.
And one of the things I want to say is that
look the same. How come it
you know, I want to.
One
of the things I want to say before we tune off is that I want to thank you for the opportunity of having me on the show. I know I've kind of been on and off of the whole RGB drama, but again, I'm La Prima 210, and I'm with 210 La Chismosa. And one of the things is that my goal in life is that if I can make a difference in one person's life, right? You know, that's what matters to me at the end of the day. And another thing is that when more than one woman come together, or more than one one or two people come together and they're on a positive,
non-hateful,
and they're on a positive stride, right? I mean, we
You're unstoppable.
By yourself you could flank 100, but with 3 people you could flank thousands.
You're unstoppable.
And you're unstoppable.
If you work with love, and you always work with love, you always oppose hate, you always take a side, you don't be neutral. When there is a distinctly evil and good side, you don't stay neutral. Yeah. You pick a side, because remember, neutrality is dangerous, it's poisonous. Every time a person is neutral in a case of good versus evil, you always give power to the oppressor.
So Vanessa, Michelle, and Cecilia, before I end the show, I read one of the comments here that Ophelia is streaming you guys.
Oh, right? That's okay.
So before I end the show, I want you, what's your Cash App?
I don't even know my
Just put your Cash App out there if you have one.
No, I'm putting my Cash App.
What is your Cash App, Vanessa? Put it out there, because I want the peacocks to hear your Cash App. Maybe one of them will send you something. Put it out there. What is your Cash App?
My Cash App is $THREREAL.
See, I don't know.
You don't even know it.
Yeah.
THINGRGB.
Somebody pin it.
$, the real thing RGV. The real thing.
So now that we have the peacocks are watching us, Vanessa, what message do you have for them?
I don't know what to say. I hope that the hate is lifted from your hearts. You're never going to get the outcome you want from me. No matter if your person who's streaming to me right now becomes stronger in whatever you think strong is, my love will always outnumber and it will always outpower your hate. Always. No matter if there's 500 of y'all, no matter if there's 1 million of y'all, I promise you that my love will always be stronger than your hate. Always.
Michelle, are they streaming us on the other platform? Someone's calling in. Hold on. Hello. Hey girl, Leanne, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, Leanne.
I wanted to say a couple things. So, I love your show. It's fucking awesome. But Roña needs to understand, okay, and I'm not even going to call her Roña. Ofelia needs to understand, when you bully people, you are going to get pushback. And Carla is not alone. Vanessa is not alone. Ceci and her cousin are not alone. You're not alone. You need to just understand that you're going to get pushback. You might call it defending yourself, but that's not what it is. First of all. Second of all, just straight up disrespecting Carla. That's where it enrages me to know that women will sit there and call her every fucking name in the book. And like I said in a post, I don't even remember whose post it was. You have a net saying, okay, we need to empower people. We need to, their past does not define them, or their weight or whatever. I get it. Yes, girl, you're getting there. But then all of a sudden, for an hour and a half, we're still bashing Carla. Why do we still bash Carla? Like, what is wrong with y'all? Are y'all fucking retarded? Like, what is wrong? We have all gone through a situation. Maybe not all of us have been cheated on. Maybe, we've all have had situations with our significant others, and it's of no one's concern but whoever's there. I've been cheated on, and I am with the man that cheated on me. And I don't give a fuck what you want to call me.
I think the phone's going to run out of battery.
But when you sit there and say that Carla's a fucking dumbass because she wanted to fucking keep her family together, fuck y'all. That's just the way I feel.
No, I hear you, but thank you for calling in. Thank you, because that's, did you die?
No, it's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I hear you. I like, no one can change how you feel.
Thank you for calling in. Te agradezco por la llamada, girl.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Any other additional words you all want to say out there, ladies?
Choose love, not hate.
Yes,
choose love.
Yeah.
Choose love always.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you all for being part of the show. Thank you, Ram, for everything. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the support.
I just love that this brought unity.
Hey, you can
I thought you were going to say that broad.
brought
Bye,
just different
guys.
perspectives and everything.
Bye.
So much love to you guys.
Definitely.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Nos miramos. I had something else to say, but I